Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Over the course of my life, I have played tons of games on many different consoles. I own the PS2, the PS3, the 360, the Xbox One, Game Boy, PSP, the GameCube. I mean, there are few consoles where I've had little to no experience with, except for one, the Wii U. Okay, so the Wii U is the only console I've never owned and barely played. The only time I did operate it was at a friend's house when his dad let me play New Super Mario Bros. Honestly, I didn't understand what the whole gimmick was with the whole gamepad, and then it's also a controller. I had zero interest in the Wii U even when I was playing it for that short time. You see, the Wii was a cool console when you're sleeping over at a friend's house, but when you want to like actually game and play Call of Duty or Madden or 2K, well, you're just not going to play on a Wii. So I never really bought a Wii, even though I played it a ton at my friend's house. The Wii U was just a different version of the Wii, so to me it was a snooze fest. And as a result, I've never played or even heard of Sonic Lost World. This game was actually a mystery to me, but more than that, I didn't even know it existed until about 3 years ago. All of the things I've heard about this game in the time that I've discovered its very existence have been pretty bad. Some say it's the worst Sonic game ever, which to be honest, it's refreshing because it means that my beloved Sonic 06 can retire from the slander that it so undeservedly gets. Others say the game was the exact moment where Sega gave up on Sonic, although I disagree, and please refer to Sonic Boom as an example. I just could not stop thinking about this game. I was very reluctant to buy it though because I've heard so many terrible things. But a couple of days ago there was a Steam sale where the game was legitimately $7.94. What the hell? I love wasting money. It's actually one of my best talents, so here we are with a retrospective of Sonic Lost World. Now before I go on, let me say something. My opinion on this game is actually how I feel. This isn't some mirage or game I'm playing here, although literally I am playing the game. I just find it funny that back in 2006 I played and enjoyed Sonic 06. It was one of my favorite games. Come to find out years later, the internet hated it. This happened a lot with things I love, and my point here is that the internet's opinion is usually cynical even with the best Sonic games, so please don't think I'm some contrarian, and I'm not trying to convince you that this game is good. I'm just telling you how I feel about the game playing it for the very first time in the year 2024. Okay, back to the retrospective. So to start, this game reminded me of something that I had almost forgotten: Saturday morning cartoons. As a kid growing up in the 2000s, Saturday mornings were sacred to me. It felt like a day of relaxation, a day of freedom, the day that I could do whatever I wanted. And there was no better thing to do at 8 a.m. than get a bowl of cereal and start watching cartoons. This game, Sonic Lost World, is exactly that. It is a Saturday morning cartoon for Sonic. It's colorful, the story is pretty gimmicky and wonky, the levels are definitely wonky too, but in a weird way it works. I mean, it really works. Lost World's level design is unmatched. I mean, we've never seen this before or after in any other Sonic game. The stages turn as you turn, the levels are really bright and really colorful like I said. Sonic games usually have a certain amount of twists and turns, but this game is a twist and turn, a never-ending one. It feels like because this was a Wii U exclusive experience, they tried their damnedest to make sure each level took advantage of the console that it was going to be on, which opened up a lot of interesting ideas, like spinning mini planets, cloud jumping. Hell, they even added a frozen factory stage where you can do some ice skating leaps. That's pretty cool. And they have an entire stage that is based on Nights into Dreams. The first stage I did was Nights into Dreams, and it immediately opened my eyes to what this game's energy is. It's just a Saturday morning fun cartoon. Now, having great stages is all well and good, but a great stage is just a great stage. It's nothing without the controlling. And once again, I have to thank the Wii U for how this game handles. In previous Sonic games, starting with Sonic Unleashed, the team added a boost dash, which is one of the worst things I've ever experienced in any Sonic game. You just barrel rush through sections of a stage, giving you this fake feeling of thrill. They also added a terrible drifting mechanic with it. I mean, it is just awful. But this game is different. There is no boosting whatsoever. Instead, they've opted for a more Sonic Adventure 2-like jog, where you can also have a sprint. Now, the difference between Sonic Adventure and this game is that the sprint button is actually a button, rather than in Sonic Adventure 2 when you just sprint naturally. And the sprint button gives you decent speed, but it's nothing crazy fast. You see, I love the Sonic Adventure games, especially 2, because of the way it controls. The mobility in that game is by far the best 3D controls for any Sonic, but this game takes the second spot in my opinion. In Sonic Lost World, you really get a good handling on Sonic. There are definitely sections of higher speed, but most of the time it's slightly above average speed that can be increased with some skill or the dash panels, which is a staple in every Sonic game. This is a massive W for me, I'm not gonna lie. One of the reasons I hate Sonic Unleashed to this day and refuse to play play it is because of the introduction of speed boosting. It is one of the worst things that they've added in Sonic, full stop. It was such a breakaway from what they had done previously, and it made Sonic feel like a mobile game. But Sonic Lost World handles the controlling just right. Well, so far I love the stages, even the 2D sections, and the controlling is masterful for the type of game this is. So let's move on to the story. It ain't much, but it's at least a little different, and it gets my stamp of approval. In this game, Sonic and Tails are chasing Eggman to free animals as per usual. This time, however, they crash land on a place called the Lost Hex. Amy, back on their world, urges Sonic to hurry and free the rest of the animals, but as soon as he finds out Eggman has enslaved the Deadly Six, a gang of powerful demon-like creatures, he also takes it upon himself to take them out as well. Sonic, as he is chasing down Eggman, accidentally frees the Deadly Six, and this is one of the few gripes I have with the story. Why is Sonic so stupid? When did this happen? You see, Sonic is very irrational. Ever since Sonic Unleashed, he just does things that are objectively stupid, and Tails is just there to say, yes, Sonic, that was pretty stupid. I mean, I get that Sonic is very impulsive, and sometimes it can lead him into some bad decisions, but it never comes from the fact that he completely just acts stupid. It's more of he just wants to, get things done quickly. Like most of the time, starting with Sonic Unleashed on, Tails will say, Sonic, don't do something, and then he completely does that thing, and it turns out to be a really stupid thing, and then he's like, haha, well, I guess we gotta fix this, and Tails is like, oh, gee whiz. It is really, really terrible writing. I don't know what happened with that, and it's been a constant basically since Unleashed. Anyways, it's not some groundbreaking story here, but I was invested all the way through. I think it does fit the Saturday morning theme with each of the Deadly Six being some colorful, wacky, wonky demons. I mean, you wouldn't even know they were demons, honestly, unless that was their name, which it is. I also wouldn't rank this as one of the higher stories on the Sonic tier list there, but if you compare it to the 2010 Sonic games, well, it's actually not that bad. It's right up there. And it's better than Sonic Forces. For those of you who might think this is the worst game and worst story, it's definitely not. Sonic Forces is still the worst Sonic game by far. But the point here is that the story gets the job done. It's a nice little fun adventure with new original villains that have never been before seen or after, and there's some humor which piqued my curiosity, so the story gets at least a stamp of approval. With every Sonic game, the music is essential to how good or great the game can be. Great OSTs can make or break any game, and Sonic to me has the greatest OSTs in video game history. Look no further than classic hits like Live and Learn, Escape from the City, His World, Endless Possibilities, and the newer recent entry, Vandalize. For this game, they opted for an instrumental based OST, and it works. I mean, it doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it's fine. I never found myself gasping at the greatness of the sound, but some stages are jolly and upbeat, which once more plays into the Saturday morning cartoon vibes. I think my favorite was probably Tropical Hill Zone 1's music. The overall OST though, I feel is too tied to the stage. Like listening to the tracks without actually playing the game feels weird, but when you're listening to the tracks while you're playing the game, it feels nice. So overall, not too bad. Last thing I got for you here is the gimmicks, and I'll keep this pretty short. They're reusing the Sonic Colors Wisps. Now, Sonic Colors is a notorious game because it's actually marketed as a 3D game when in reality, it's a 2D game that has 3D segments, and I also wasted $20 buying it. And one of the main features of that game is the Wisps. You kind of walk into this bubble, pick up a power-up, and depending on what power-up you get, you progress through the stage with said power-up. Well, that's making a return in Sonic Lost World, which I'm not thrilled about. In this game, you have wisp abilities like the planet jumping, or the digging, or the aimed long jump. They're fine. I mean, it's okay. I will say, at least these stages give you a good reason to use them, unlike in Sonic Colors Ultimate, where you kind of don't have to use them all the time. And it's also not overly reliant on the gimmicks either. So I guess I can say the wisp ability in this game is better than it was in Colors Ultimate. I think it has a good balance. Although, I question if they were necessary to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. I gotta say, to conclude this retrospective, I enjoyed this game quite a bit. I really am shocked at how much hate it gets. I think I enjoyed it way better than I did Sonic Generations and definitely Colors. We're not going to talk about Forces, that game is to not be mentioned. This game I feel like is their attempt to make a Nintendo style Sonic game, and I think they nailed it for what it's worth. I feel this game's controlling really sets it apart apart from the other games in the 2010s like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. I think the stages are by far the most unique stages that I've ever seen in any Sonic game, and everything else it does just well enough for me to actually appreciate it. Seriously, why does this game get a lot of hate? It has to be because of the Wii U console, which is very unpopular. I mean, there's no way it's actually about the game. It's kind of a really good game. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the best Sonic game in the world. I'm not going crazy about it, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I had a good time. That was $7.94 well spent on my end, which, like I said, I wasted money on a lot of dumb things. Look no further than Sonic Colors Ultimate. Anyways, let me know what you think about Sonic Lost World in the comment section. Did you agree with the internet? Is this game terrible just like the Wii U? Or are you like me, somebody who actually enjoys the game and thinks it's a pretty fine Sonic experience? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for checking out this video. Hope to see you all in the next one, but until then, peace.